The following is a clip from my video titled A Beginner's Guide to Experimental Cinema. I put a link in the description if you want to watch the whole thing. In my opinion, the best place to start is with the greatest experimental film ever made, Koyaanisqatsi from 1982. Director Godfrey Reggio's film is quite clearly experimental cinema, as it has no dialogue, characters, or plot. We don't even get narration or text giving any sort of context to the images. Koyaanisqatsi is basically a 90-minute music video, since the only sound the viewer hears is the brilliant music from one of the top composers of the 20th century, Philip Glass. The film is worth watching for the score alone, and it was the first of many amazing movie soundtracks from Glass. The music is fundamental to Koyaanisqatsi, as it plays from beginning to end, and it was even drastically re-edited during production to go with Glass's score. Director of photography Fricke provides beautiful imagery of nature, cityscapes, vehicles, people, and more. One of the central parts of the film's look is the extensive use of time-lapse photography. While sped-up footage of a cityscape is now commonplace and even cliché, at the time it was revolutionary. Time-lapse had been used before, but this was the first time the technique was used in such an extensive and significant way. It led to time-lapse becoming used quite often, especially in music videos. Like many experimental films, Koyaanisqatsi blurs the line between documentary and narrative. There are no actors, and the shots depict reality, but when taken as a whole, the film becomes something more than a documentary. If you like Koyaanisqatsi, it's actually the first in a trilogy, something very rare among experimental cinema. The sequel, Koyaanisqatsi, came out in 1988, and Reggio, Glass, and Fricke all returned. It takes the same basic formula as the first film, but has more of a focus on the third world and developing nations. Koyaanisqatsi isn't nearly as influential or essential as the original, but there's definitely some cool stuff in there and it's worth giving a chance. It also has yet another memorable score from Philip Glass. The trilogy concluded in 2002 with Koyaanisqatsi, which is the least well-regarded and substantially different from the first two films. The biggest differences are that it uses mostly stock or archive footage, and it features computer-generated imagery. It's much less of a documentary, and the CGI does look dated and cheesy at times. The pre-existing footage is often heavily altered and occasionally borders on abstraction. Fricke did not work on Koyaanisqatsi, but he's directed some powerful and interesting films on his own that are also relatively accessible, starting with his debut Chronos in 1985. Named after the ancient Greek word for time, the 42-minute-long film is a meditation on the passage of time. It's similar to Koyaanisqatsi due to its lack of dialogue or plot, and a score that's always playing, but it's less concerned with conveying a message to the audience. His first feature came in 1992 with Baraka. It feels less like an extended music video than the Qatsi films, since the music isn't constantly present and we hear on-screen sounds like waterfalls and animals. It does have a similar visual style though, since it has time-lapse footage and people staring into the camera. His most recent effort, Samsara from 2011, is in my opinion his best yet. It's also the weirdest film from Reggio or Fricke, as well as the most disturbing, seeing as it has some unpleasant footage of animal cruelty, and an extended sequence that shows you how meat gets made. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.